The magical legacy that marks you as heir is not a birthright of unearned power, but a heavy inheritance demanding you reconcile the expectations of ancestors with the truth of your own spirit. And true belonging requires not conforming to the Academy's rigid traditions, but singing your own song until the institution bends to honor the magic it was built to suppress. In Raven's Song, Serenity Rayne delivers a YA Fantasy Academy novel that transforms the Chosen One trope into a luminous exploration of neurodivergent expression and intergenerational healing, proving that in schools defined by conformity, liberation isn't found in perfect grades. It's forged in the radical act of trusting your unique frequency when every syllabus demands you silence it. This isn't merely another Dragon Rider saga with competitive trials. It's a psychologically precise narrative where every spellcast feels like both vulnerability and vow. Consent to learn is negotiated through self-trust rather than assumed obedience, and mastery means honoring the student beneath the legacy when prestige demands she remain archetypical. From the first wind and scale narration, listeners are immersed in a world where magic is music and presence is the only true curriculum. Perfect for fans of emotionally intelligent YA fantasy and stories where female agency defies institutional expectations, this audiobook serves up atmospheric wonder, relentless emotional honesty, and a protagonist whose journey from reluctant heir to sovereign mage resonates with anyone who's ever been told their gift was too strange for polite society. When first-year cadet Raven Vance arrives at Dragonis Academy carrying a forbidden bloodline and a mind that processes magic as melody rather than formula, she expects disciplinary failure, not to discover her unconventional resonance mirrors the exact suppression her grandmother endured beneath decades of performative compliance, and the enigmatic instructor Julian Thorne's quiet refusal to pathologize her differences creates space for a mentorship that defies pedagogical convention. But as Raven navigates aerial drills and buried attractions to her own power, she realizes this education isn't about assimilation, it's about recalibration. Rayne masterfully avoids reducing Raven to quirky outlier or Julian to savior archetype. Instead, she crafts a relationship rooted in radical reciprocity within constraint, where trust is earned through honoring boundaries even as desire blurs them, and where growth emerges from seeing each other beyond assigned roles. The audiobook narration amplifies this emotional alchemy, capturing Raven's disciplined anxiety softening into fierce clarity, and Julian's guarded authority revealing warmth beneath stoic vigilance. You don't just hear her progress, you feel the seismic shift of two souls learning that some songs can only be sung when you stop letting others compose them. What elevates Raven's Song beyond typical Academy fare is its nuanced portrayal of magical education as somatic practice rather than abstract achievement. Raven isn't merely passing exams, she's confronting how academic culture taught her to equate worth with conformity, challenging the notion that safety requires erasure of self. Julian doesn't fix her through accommodation. He creates sanctuary where her neurodivergence can lead without diminishment, honoring her autonomy even as his own institutional conditioning surfaces. Their relationship evolves through acts of radical reciprocity, sharing silences during twilight flight practice that bypass performance, establishing rhythms that protect both curricular integrity and psychological safety, and defending Raven's right to learn differently against administrators who mistake innovation for subordination. Supporting characters add vital texture, fellow cadets whose loyalty encodes suppressed grief, elder dragons whose wisdom carries intergenerational weight, even the Academy itself, rendered as living archive whose stone halls absorb centuries of unspoken bargains. Every interaction reinforces the novel's core truth. In systems built on extraction, tenderness is technique, and presence is the only sustainable resource. Even the fantasy mechanics serve thematic depth, with harmonic spells mirroring emotional attunement, and bonding rituals becoming metaphors for earned trust. For audiobook listeners, this production is an immersive sensory descent into melodic intimacy. The narrator embodies Raven and Julian with remarkable distinction. Raven's voice carries bright intelligence laced with dawning sovereignty, while Julian's low temper tumbles with suppressed tenderness beneath disciplined cadence, making their chemistry palpable even during conflict. Sound design enhances atmosphere without overwhelming immersion, distant wing beats marking temporal rhythm, rain against dormitory windows during vulnerable confessions, the hushed hum of dragon songs syncing with breath during moments of clarity, all anchor mythic stakes and tangible reality. Pacing mirrors the cadence of academic awakening, deliberate during reflection and alliance building, then surging with urgency as external pressures collide with internal breakthroughs. Whether you're commuting through mundane landscapes or sitting in twilight solitude, the audiobook creates a portable sanctuary where slowness feels sacred and embodiment feels lifeline. Its storytelling is somatic validation, transforming passive listening into active participation in a journey where mastery isn't found in perfection, but in authenticity. Ultimately, Raven's Song redefines YA Fantasy Academy by centering neurodivergent epistemology within institutional frameworks. It satisfies genre cravings for satisfying progression and catachartic resolution, while delivering substantive commentary on educational trauma, masculine vulnerability, and the radical act of building mentorships based on mutual recognition rather than rescue. As Book 1 in the Second Generation series, it establishes a foundation of emotional authenticity that promises depth throughout the saga, yet stands confidently as a complete emotional odyssey. If you've ever wondered whether strength can coexist with softness, or if true mastery requires embracing what others dismiss, this audiobook will affirm that sometimes the most powerful act is simply choosing to sing. Press play, spread your wings, and prepare to believe that even in landscapes shaped by expectation, hearts still find ways to soar. Your next favorite YA fantasy isn't waiting in flawless heroes. It's waiting in the brave, trembling choice to honor your whole self.